Listen up. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to do the work for you. It's just you, your goals, and the battlefield of life. And on that battlefield, excuses are the enemy. They're the whispers in your head telling you it's okay to stay comfortable, to stay small, to stay the same. But you didn't come this far to stay the same. Excuses are the chains that keep you tied to mediocrity. They're easy to grab onto when the road gets tough, when the pain starts to set in, and when the grind feels endless. But let me tell you something, the moment you decide to stop giving power to excuses is the moment you take back control of your life. It's not about talent, not about luck, not about the hand you were dealt. It's about grit, persistence, and the refusal to quit. When you tell yourself, I'm too tired, remember, there's someone out there who's just as tired but still getting it done. When you say, I don't have time, think of the people grinding with twice your obstacles and zero complaints. Every excuse you make is just a way of avoiding the truth. And the truth is, you're capable of more. You've always been capable of more. You just haven't tapped into it yet because you've let your excuses do the talking for you. There's no magic moment when the stars align and everything feels perfect. Success doesn't knock on your door because you wished for it. It shows up when you've earned it, when you've put in the work, when you've stared your excuses in the face and said, not today. You think the greats got to where they are by making excuses? Hell no. They got there by showing up day after day, no matter how they felt, no matter what was going on around them. They understood that every excuse is just fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. But guess what? Fear is nothing compared to the regret you'll feel if you let it win. You've got one shot at this life, one chance to see what you're truly made of. Stop wasting it telling yourself stories about why you can't, why it's not the right time, or why it's harder for you than it is for someone else. Nobody cares about your excuses. They don't change the outcome. They don't make the work go away. They just delay the victory, waiting for you on the other side of effort. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to go all in. Get up, show up, put in the work. When the excuses come, and they will, shut them down. You are not your excuses. You are what you do despite them. That's where strength is built. That's where greatness is forged. So go out there and take what's yours. No excuses, no limits, just action. Excuses are the silent killers of ambition. They creep into your mind, offering comfort and a way out when things get hard. They tell you it's okay to take a break, to try tomorrow, or to settle for less because the odds aren't in your favor. But every time you give in to an excuse, you're trading your potential for temporary relief. Excuses don't just slow you down, they stop you entirely. They become the walls you build around yourself, keeping you from seeing what's possible. The truth is, excuses are lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort, fear, and failure. They feel safe, but they are the enemy of growth. When you strip away excuses, what you're left with is the raw truth. Progress demands effort, and there's no shortcut. You have to recognize excuses for what they are and refuse to let them dictate your action. Excuses are the silent, seductive voice in your mind that gives you permission to stay where you are. They disguise themselves as logical reasons, presenting an easy way out when the journey gets tough. They tell you things like, you're too tired, you don't have the resources, or it's just not the right time. But deep down, you know the truth. Excuses are the chains that hold you back from achieving your greatness. They give you the illusion of comfort, but in reality, they're keeping you stuck, stagnant, and unfulfilled. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall separating you from your potential. The more excuses you give into, the higher that wall becomes until you can no longer see what's possible for you. Excuses don't just delay your progress, they erode your belief in yourself. The more you rely on them, the more you train your mind to quit when the going gets tough. And that's the real danger. Excuses create habits, and those habits define your results. Think about it. What do excuses really accomplish? Do they make the challenge disappear? Do they make the work easier? No. All they do is push the responsibility further down the road, leaving you further from where you want to be. Excuses don't solve problems, they simply avoid them. And avoidance never leads to success. Success requires confrontation, confronting your fears, your doubts, and the hard truths about what it takes to get to the next level. It's not that successful people don't face obstacles. They face the same challenges, the same doubts, the same fears as anyone else. The difference is that they don't give in to excuses. They recognize them for what they are, a test of how badly you want it, a test of whether you're willing to sacrifice your comfort. When you stop giving power to excuses, you take back control of your life. You realize that the obstacles in your way aren't insurmountable. They're opportunities to grow stronger, tougher, and more resilient. Every time you silence an excuse and take action instead, you're building a new pattern, a new habit, a new mindset. You're training yourself to show up no matter what. It's not going to be easy. Excuses will always try to pull you back into the comfort zone. But remember this, the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. You weren't born to play small. You weren't born to make excuses. You were born to push boundaries, to rise above challenges, and to prove to yourself what you're capable of. So the next time an excuse creeps into your mind, ask yourself, is this excuse worth giving up my goals? Is it worth trading my potential for a moment of comfort? The answer will always be no. And when you live like that, when you refuse to let excuses run your life, you become unstoppable. No one is coming to save you. Let that sink in. Too often, we wait for someone else to fix our problems, guide us to success, or pull us out of a tough spot. But the reality is, your life is your responsibility. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start making real progress. Taking full ownership of your life means understanding that every decision, every action, and every result falls squarely on your shoulders. It's not about blaming others or circumstances. It's about realizing that you have the power to change, to grow, and to succeed. When you own your life, you stop making excuses and start finding solutions. It's easy to point fingers at external factors, the economy, your upbringing, your boss, or your lack of resources, but none of that changes the fact that you are the only one who can determine where you go from here. Blaming others might feel good in the moment, but it won't move you forward. Ownership is about taking back control, even when things seem unfair or out of your hands. It's about saying, this is my life, and I'm going to make it work no matter what. Taking ownership also means being brutally honest with yourself. Look in the mirror and ask the hard questions. Are you doing everything you can to achieve your goals? Are you putting in the effort? Are you making decisions that align with the life you want? If the answer is no, then it's time to stop making excuses and start making changes. It's not about being perfect. It's about being accountable. Accountability is the foundation of growth. When you own your mistakes, you learn from them. When you take responsibility for your choices, you gain the power to make better ones. Ownership is not just about actions. It's a mindset. It's understanding that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. Life is going to throw challenges at you. Things won't always go as planned, but how you respond to those challenges is entirely up to you. Will you let them defeat you, or will you rise above them? Owning your life means choosing to rise, no matter how hard it gets. When you take full ownership, you stop waiting for the perfect opportunity or for someone to give you permission. You create your own opportunities. You make your own path. You realize that no one owes you anything, and that's okay because you don't need them to. Everything you need to succeed is already within you. The drive, the resilience, the ability to adapt and overcome. This isn't an easy path. It requires discipline, commitment, and an unshakable belief in yourself. But it's the only path that leads to true success and fulfillment. Because when you take ownership, every victory is yours to celebrate, every lesson is yours to learn, and every challenge is yours to conquer. You stop being a passenger in your life and take the driver's seat. And that's where the real journey begins. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about effort. Effort is the great equalizer, the one thing that's entirely within your control. Too often, people get caught up in comparing themselves to others, thinking they're naturally gifted or they've had it easier than me. But let me tell you something. Talent might give someone a head start, but effort determines who finishes the race. Effort is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's what turns potential into achievement. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't put in the work, it means nothing. The most successful people didn't get there because everything came easy to them. They got there because they showed up every single day, rain or shine, tired or energized, motivated or not, and they put in the work. They understood that effort compounds over time, turning small, consistent actions into massive results. Here's the truth. Effort beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. It's easy to look at someone who's successful and think they're just naturally good at what they do. But what you don't see is the countless hours they spent grinding when no one was watching, the failures they endured, and the sacrifices they made to get there. Talent might open the door, but effort is what keeps it open. Effort is also about resilience. It's about pushing through when things get tough. Talent might make things easier in the beginning, but effort is what keeps you going when the initial excitement fades and the real challenges begin. Effort means being consistent, even when progress feels slow. It means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means putting in the work when no one else believes in you because you believe in yourself. Effort is the ultimate measure of how much you want something. It's easy to say you have big dreams, but are you willing to do what it takes to achieve them? Are you willing to put in the hours, make the sacrifices, and keep going when it feels like nothing is working? That's where effort comes in. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's the only thing that guarantees progress. Effort is something you can control. You can't always control the circumstances you're born into or the opportunities that come your way, but you can always control how hard you work. You can always control how much you're willing to give. And when you give everything you've got, you'll be amazed at what you're capable of achieving. Effort is also what builds character. It teaches you discipline, resilience, and the value of persistence. It shows you that success isn't just about reaching the goal, it's about who you become along the way. Every ounce of effort you put in shapes you into someone stronger, someone more capable, someone who refuses to settle for less than they deserve. So stop worrying about how talented you are or aren't. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Focus on what you can control, and that's your effort. Put in the work. Day after day, no matter how small the steps may seem. Because at the end of the day, it's not talent that will get you to the top. It's effort. Excuses are fear in disguise. They may sound logical, even reasonable, but underneath them lies a fear that's holding you back. It's not the challenge itself that stops you. It's the fear of what happens if you fail, if you're judged, or if you step out of your comfort zone. Fear whispers to you through excuses, convincing you it's better to stay where it's safe. But the truth is, nothing great has ever come from playing it safe. Think about the excuses you've made. I don't have the time, I'm not ready, or what if I'm not good enough? These aren't justifications, they're manifestations of fear. The fear of not meeting expectations, the fear of putting yourself out there and falling short, the fear of trying and still failing. But here's the thing, fear isn't going anywhere. It will always be there, trying to keep you from stepping into the unknown. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is the ability to act despite that fear. Excuses are your mind's way of protecting you from discomfort, but growth only happens in discomfort. Every excuse you make is an opportunity missed. When you say, "I'll start tomorrow," or "it's too hard," you're not avoiding the challenge, you're avoiding the growth that comes with facing it. Fear convinces you that the pain of failure is worse than the pain of regret, but that's a lie. The regret of not trying, of holding back, of settling for less than you're capable of, will always outweigh the discomfort of trying and failing. The fear behind excuses often stems from a lack of confidence or a fear of being vulnerable. You worry about what people will think if you fail. You worry about looking weak or incapable. But here's the truth. No one successful got there without facing failure. Failure isn't the end, it's a step in the process. And the people who judge you for trying, they're the ones too afraid to face their own fears. Don't let their insecurities define your path. The moment you recognize that excuses are rooted in fear, you can start dismantling them. When an excuse creeps into your mind, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Dig deep and face that fear head on. Fear loses its power the moment you confront it. It thrives in avoidance, but weakens in action. Every time you push past an excuse, you're not just moving closer to your goals, you're building courage. Excuses are easy. They're comfortable, but they lead to a life of mediocrity. Facing your fears is hard, but it leads to a life of growth, fulfillment, and success. Stop giving fear the wheel. Acknowledge it, face it, and then move forward despite it. You'll realize that fear is never as big as it seems, and with each step you take, it becomes smaller and smaller. Your excuses are not your reality unless you let them be. You have the power to rise above them, to face the fears they're hiding, and to prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think. When you do, you won't just overcome your excuses, you'll overcome the limits you've placed on your life. There's never a perfect time. Waiting for the ideal moment to start is one of the biggest traps you can fall into. We convince ourselves that if we just wait until the conditions are right, when we have more money, more time, more confidence, or fewer distractions, then we'll be ready to take action. But here's the hard truth. That perfect moment you're waiting for doesn't exist. Life will never hand you a flawless set of circumstances on a silver platter. The idea of the right time is just another excuse in disguise. It's a way to delay action, to avoid stepping into the discomfort of starting something new. Deep down, we know the conditions will never be ideal, but we use the hope of perfection as a way to justify inaction. The problem is, while you're waiting for the stars to align, time is slipping away. Opportunities are passing you by, and your goals are moving further out of reach. Starting now, even when things aren't perfect, is the only way to make progress. Success isn't about having the perfect plan or the perfect moment. It's about taking imperfect action and adjusting along the way. Every great achievement started with someone who decided to begin, even when they didn't feel ready. They didn't wait for the fear to disappear or the obstacles to vanish. They acted. And through that action, they created their own momentum. You might think, but I'm not prepared. Or what if I fail? Here's the thing. No one starts fully prepared, and failure is part of the process. You don't need to have all the answers before you begin. You don't need to feel confident or have everything figured out. Confidence comes from action, and clarity comes from doing. You learn, grow, and adapt as you go. The most important step is the first one, no matter how small or uncertain it feels. Waiting for the perfect time also keeps you trapped in a cycle of procrastination. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. You build up the task or goal in your mind until it feels overwhelming. But the longer you delay, the more you reinforce the habit of inaction. The only way to break that cycle is to start now, even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable. The truth is, the perfect time is a myth, but the present moment is real. Right now, you have everything you need to take the first step. It doesn't have to be big or dramatic. Small, consistent actions taken today will always beat waiting for the right moment tomorrow. Starting now in less than ideal conditions builds resilience, discipline, and momentum. It teaches you to adapt and thrive, even when things aren't perfect. When you stop waiting for the perfect time, you take back control of your life. You stop relying on external circumstances and start relying on your own determination and effort. You realize that success isn't about what's happening around you. It's about what you choose to do in spite of it. So stop waiting. The time to start isn't someday, it's today. Action destroys excuses. Excuses thrive on inaction. They gain strength when you sit idle, overthink, and let doubt creep into your mind. The longer you hesitate, the more excuses pile up, convincing you why it's okay to delay or quit. But the moment you take action, even the smallest step forward, those excuses start to crumble. Why? Because action creates momentum, and momentum silences the voice of doubt. When you act, you shift your focus from why you can't to how you can. Action forces you to engage with the reality of your situation, not the fear or hesitation your mind has created. Excuses live in your head, but progress happens in the real world. You might not know exactly how things will turn out, but when you act, you stop speculating and start creating results. The beauty of action is that it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to have every detail figured out or every resource in place. Perfection is just another excuse that keeps you from starting. The key is to move, even if it's messy, even if you stumble. Each step forward, no matter how small, weakens the grip of excuses and builds your confidence. Excuses often stem from fear of failure, rejection, or discomfort. But fear loses its power when faced with action. The first step might feel terrifying, but with each move you make, fear becomes smaller and your strength grows. Action proves to yourself that you're capable, that you're not defined by your excuses, and that you have the power to change your circumstances. Action also breeds clarity. When you're stuck in your head, everything feels overwhelming. You overanalyze, second guess yourself, and create obstacles that don't even exist. But when you take action, you gain perspective. You see what works, what doesn't, and what adjustments you need to make. Action transforms uncertainty into understanding and progress. Momentum is one of the most powerful tools you have. Once you start, it's easier to keep going. The hardest part is the beginning, pushing past the inertia of excuses and doubt. But once you take that first step, the second step feels more manageable, and the third even easier. Before you know it, you're moving forward with purpose and determination, and the excuses that once held you back become irrelevant. Action is a decision, a choice to prioritize progress over comfort. It's not about waiting for motivation or the right moment. It's about deciding that your goals are more important than your fears or excuses. The more you act, the more you reinforce the habit of doing rather than delaying. Over time, this habit becomes part of who you are, a person who doesn't make excuses but makes things happen. Every great achievement started with a single action. It wasn't perfect or guaranteed, but it was a step forward. If you want to destroy excuses, start small. Take one step, no matter how insignificant it feels. That step will lead to another, and soon you'll realize that the excuses you once believed were insurmountable were nothing more than illusions. Action is the antidote to excuses. It's how you turn I can't into I did. So stop overthinking, stop waiting, and start moving. Progress doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who act. And when you act, you'll discover that you're far more capable than you ever believed. Success requires sacrifice. It's as simple and as brutal as that. You cannot achieve greatness by holding on to everything that keeps you comfortable. The life you dream of demands that you give something up. The late nights binge watching TV, the endless hours scrolling through social media, the comfort of staying in your routine. Success isn't handed to you, it's earned. And the currency is your willingness to sacrifice for it. Sacrifice means prioritizing your goals over short-term pleasures. It's about understanding that every choice you make is either moving you closer to your dreams or pulling you further away. You can't have it all, at least not all at once. If you want to build something extraordinary, you have to be willing to let go of the ordinary. That might mean waking up earlier than everyone else, putting in hours when others are relaxing, or saying no to distractions that don't serve your purpose. But sacrifice isn't just about giving things up, it's about trading what you want now for what you want most. The temporary discomfort of sacrifice is nothing compared to the lifelong satisfaction of achieving your goals. Too many people want success, but they aren't willing to pay the price. They want the results without the effort, the rewards without the struggle. That mindset leads to mediocrity, because greatness is reserved for those who are willing to endure the hard choices. Sacrifice also means stepping outside your comfort zone. Growth never happens in a place of ease. To achieve something you've never done before, you have to be willing to do things you've never done. That might mean learning new skills, taking risks, or embracing failure as part of the process. It's uncomfortable, even scary, but it's the only way forward. Every sacrifice you make builds resilience and discipline, two traits that are essential for long-term success. People will tell you to find balance, but here's the truth. Success doesn't come from balance. It comes from obsession. It comes from being so focused on your goal that you're willing to make sacrifices others won't. The late nights, the early mornings, the extra mile, those are the moments when success is forged. It's not about being reckless or burning out, but it is about being relentless in your pursuit of what matters most. Sacrifice isn't forever, it's for a purpose. The time you invest now, the comforts you forgo, and the hard work you put in will pay dividends in the future. But only if you're willing to commit fully. If you hold back, if you cling to what's easy or familiar, you'll never reach the heights you're capable of. Success demands everything you've got, and the more you're willing to give, the greater the rewards will be. The sacrifices you make today are the foundation of the life you'll build tomorrow. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you push past excuses, and every time you stay focused while others give up, you're setting yourself apart. Success isn't just about talent or luck. It's about making the tough decisions that others won't. So ask yourself, what are you willing to give up for your dreams? What comforts or habits are you clinging to that are holding you back? Be honest, and then take action. Sacrifice isn't easy, but it's worth it. The life you want is on the other side of the sacrifices you're willing to make. And when you finally get there, you'll realize it wasn't a loss, it was an investment in your future. You must learn to embrace the discomfort. Growth does not happen in the comfort zone. If you're looking for an easy, smooth ride to success, you'll be waiting forever. Comfort and success do not coexist. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you are taking the necessary steps toward growth and progress. But that requires discomfort, pain, uncertainty, and facing challenges you'd rather avoid. Discomfort is a sign that you're on the right track. It's a signal that you're pushing past your limits, breaking old patterns, and expanding your potential. The moment you feel discomfort is the moment you've crossed into the unknown, and that's where real transformation occurs. If you always stay where things are easy and familiar, you'll never tap into your true capabilities. Success requires the willingness to experience the pain of growth. Most people will avoid discomfort at all costs. They'll stay in their routine. their safe space, where they don't have to take risks or face the unknown. But what they don't realize is that avoiding discomfort also means avoiding their potential. Discomfort is where breakthroughs happen. It's where you discover what you're truly made of. Every time you lean into that discomfort, you're not just facing fear or uncertainty. You're building strength, resilience, and the grit needed to overcome whatever comes your way. When you're uncomfortable, that's when you're stretching yourself. You're developing the skills, the mindset, and the perseverance needed to accomplish your goals. Whether you're learning something new, facing failure, or simply stepping outside your usual routine, you are growing. And that's the point. Growth requires resistance, just like muscles need. So stop avoiding discomfort. Stop running from the challenges that scare you. The more you embrace those moments, the more comfortable you will become with being uncomfortable. Over time, discomfort becomes normal, and what once seemed terrifying now feels like an opportunity for growth. It's also important to understand that discomfort isn't a sign of failure, it's a sign of progress. Every time you struggle, face obstacles, or feel like giving up, it's an opportunity to strengthen your character. The most successful people didn't reach their achievements without experiencing hardship, doubt, and pain. They faced discomfort head on, learned from it, and used it to fuel their journey. The key is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Recognize that it's a part of the process and a necessary component of achieving anything worthwhile. If you can push through the initial discomfort, you'll find that the rewards are worth every ounce of struggle. The truth is, comfort is the enemy of growth. It lulls you into complacency and tells you that it's okay to stay stagnant, but your dreams aren't achieved by playing it safe. They're achieved by taking risks, embracing challenges, and moving forward despite the discomfort. So ask yourself, what discomfort am I avoiding right now? What challenge am I running from because it's uncomfortable? That discomfort is your path to growth. Embrace it and push through it, because on the other side is where your success lies. Discomfort is not the enemy, it's the catalyst that will drive you to become the best version of yourself. The journey to success is never a straight line. It's filled with setbacks, failures, and obstacles. The real question is, how will you respond when things don't go according to plan? Will you quit when faced with adversity, or will you use it as fuel to keep going? Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to keep moving forward despite the hurdles that come your way. It's the difference between those who give up and those who rise stronger. Failure isn't the end. It's simply a part of the process. The most successful people didn't get there by avoiding failure. They got there by learning from it. When they fell, they didn't stay down. They got back up, recalibrated, and tried again with more wisdom. Resilience is about persistence, about refusing to let obstacles define you or stop you from moving toward your goals. The road to success is paved with failures, but those failures don't matter unless you let them defeat you. Resilience is what allows you to keep going when it feels like everything is against you. It's about having the mental toughness to keep pushing even when the results aren't immediate. When you fail, it's easy to get discouraged, to wonder if it's all worth it. But the resilient person doesn't let that doubt control them. They learn from their mistakes, adapt their approach, and keep moving forward. They know that the only way to fail for good is to quit. Resilience also means accepting the challenges along the way. Life is unpredictable, and success rarely happens on your first try. But those who are truly resilient understand that the setbacks they face are simply opportunities to grow stronger. Each challenge is a lesson, each failure an opportunity to adjust, and each obstacle a test of their determination. It's about having the mindset that every hardship can be turned into a stepping stone toward your goal. When you develop resilience, you start to see failure differently. Instead of viewing it as a reflection of your abilities or a sign that you're not good enough, you see it as part of the journey. You understand that every failure is simply a detour, not a dead end. You're not defined by your failures, you're defined by how you respond to them. And when you get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving, you prove to yourself that you're capable of anything. Building resilience doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and a mindset shift. It requires you to embrace discomfort, to face challenges head on, and to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. But the more you practice resilience, the stronger you become. You develop the mental fortitude to face whatever life throws your way, knowing that you have what it takes to overcome it. Resilience is also about self-belief. You have to believe in your ability to navigate challenges, to grow from them, and to emerge even stronger. When you trust yourself, you become unshakable. You don't let temporary setbacks dictate your future. You learn from them, grow from them, and keep your eyes focused on the bigger picture. Resilience is the unwavering belief that no matter what happens, you have the strength to get through it. So, when the road gets tough, and it will, remember this. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure or obstacles. It's about how you handle them. It's about getting up when you fall, pushing through when it's hard, and never ever quitting. With resilience, nothing can stop you. Your journey might be filled with challenges, but as long as you stay resilient, you will always find a way to reach your destination. Success doesn't belong to the ones who never fail. It belongs to the ones who keep going no matter how many times they fall. The power of accountability cannot be overstated. It's a game changer when it comes to achieving your goals. When you're accountable to someone, whether it's a coach, a friend, or even yourself, you put pressure on yourself to follow through. You stop making excuses because you know that someone is watching, and that expectation forces you to take action. Accountability is the bridge between intention and action. Without it, goals remain dreams. With it, they become reality. The truth is, most people never reach their full potential because they let themselves off the hook. They say they'll do something, but when things get tough or inconvenient, they let themselves slide. There's no one there to call them out, no one to remind them of their commitment. When you're alone in the struggle, it's easy to make excuses and procrastinate. But when you have someone to answer to, you become more committed, more disciplined, and more focused. Having accountability means you've made your goals public. You've stated your intentions and put them out into the world, and that external pressure forces you to honor your word. It's about knowing that you can't hide behind excuses anymore because someone is going to ask you about your progress. When you make yourself accountable to others, you start to take your goals more seriously. You realize that your actions, or lack of them, affect not just you, but those around you as well. But accountability isn't just about answering to others. It's about answering to yourself. When you hold yourself accountable, you make your goals non-negotiable. You stop giving yourself permission to quit. Every time you commit to something, you reinforce your sense of integrity. You build trust in yourself because you know that you will follow through. You realize that your word is your bond, and your actions need to reflect the commitments you've made. Accountability also pushes you to take consistent action, even when motivation wanes. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the tide, but accountability doesn't care about motivation. It's a constant force that keeps you moving forward. On days when you don't feel like working or when obstacles seem overwhelming, the fact that you have someone to report to can give you the push you need to keep going. Having an accountability partner or coach can also provide guidance, encouragement, and feedback. They can help you stay on track when you're feeling lost, offer perspective when you're discouraged, and celebrate with you when you achieve milestones. They become a mirror, reflecting your progress and helping you adjust when things aren't working. When you share your struggles and victories with someone who truly cares about your success, it fuels your drive to keep pushing. Another powerful aspect of accountability is that it creates a sense of urgency. When you know someone is expecting results, you stop procrastinating and take action right now. You realize that time is limited, and every day that passes is one day closer to your goals. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start, but having accountability means you must make progress every day. It instills discipline and a sense of responsibility because you know that the clock is ticking and you can't afford to waste time. Accountability also helps you stay consistent. The more you make yourself answerable for your actions, the more you build a habit of showing up every day. Consistency is the key to long-term success. It's not about doing something once and hoping for results. It's about showing up day in and day out, no matter how you feel. With accountability, you make consistency a non-negotiable part of your routine. Finally, accountability creates a positive feedback loop. As you make progress and stay accountable, you build momentum. The more you show up, the more confident you become in your ability to follow through. The more you follow through, the more you accomplish, and the more you realize that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. It creates a cycle of success where each win motivates you to take on even bigger challenges. So if you want to stop making excuses and start achieving your goals, embrace accountability. Seek out a mentor, a coach, or a group that can hold you to your word. Make your goals public and commit to following through no matter what. Accountability is the tool that separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the driving force behind success, and it's the key to unlocking your full potential. Without accountability, excuses reign. With it, success becomes inevitable.